What's going on, people? Back again for another edition of Parlay Madness, episode 51. We're past the half century now, and you know what that means. We need to make hella money this weekend, and I'm looking forward to doing it at UFC 321. We got Tom Aspinall taking on Cyril Gane. JB has had to take a little break this week for undisclosed reasons, so I had to bring in the big guns. I had to bring in the backup. We only have the realist on this podcast. We had not many guests. Chris Duncan, Michael Aswell last week. Shout out to my man for cashing us that big bag. And now we got Andrew Gombas, the man himself. So I'm very excited to bring Andrew on. I don't think we've ever done anything on my channel before, but I've broke a podcast with him, broke fights down with him on other people's podcasts, but now we're doing one on my podcast. So thank you so much for joining me, Andrew. How are you feeling about this card, bro?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I appreciate you having me. It should be a really fun time. Card's really good, so I'm excited to talk about all the fights.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're out there in Abu Dhabi, so it can be a little bit dodgy with judges' decisions, and there's a lot of interesting things that go on in Abu Dhabi, so you have to tread a little bit carefully. I remember the last time we was in this part of the world. Well, one of the last times I had Rizvan Kunayev over Curtis Blades at like plus 200 or something. And then I had a decision prop at plus 600. And Andrew, we had on this show, right? We had the double K decision parlay. We had Sung Hyuk Ko, who's on this card as well. No, next week's card I've been taping. Via decision at plus 1,000 over Oban Elliott. And then we parlayed him with Kunayev decision plus 600 again with Curtis Blades. So it was like a 66-1 or something like that, bro. And I had like 500 on it to win like 35 grand. And then I had obviously money on Rizvan, money line itself. And so, bro, from that one decision, it was more than 50 grand it cost me, bro. So we got to be careful betting against some of these people from this part of the world this weekend.
Yeah, man, that sucks. And, you would think if anything, like Kunayev was like closer to that part of the world than Curtis Blades. So
True.
Not even hometown cooking, just bad decisions.
Yeah, bro. That completely slipped my mind when I was breaking it down. Yeah, it literally was, bro. What was that in? Am I right? Was that in the Middle East then?
Or yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, because I think I remember thinking to myself, all right, he clearly won in my opinion, but it wasn't a complete blowout. Like one or the two of the rounds were close, but we're in the Middle East, so we should be all good. But I guess it might just be incompetence, man. So you're getting some shout outs in the chat, my man Gombas. Boys, if you didn't know, Gombas is a pro sports bettor, so makes his full-time income doing sports betting, which is good because 99% of people in this game don't do that. So yeah, man, very happy to have you on, bro. One thing I want to ask you before we go live, because a lot of these people watching, won't do it as a full-time income, of course, right? Most people that bet on sports don't do it as a full-time income. So as someone who does it yourself, I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. We haven't spoke about this at all. But what I will say is there any advice, wisdom, knowledge that you can give to the people about maybe one, going full-time, but then also, because I don't believe everyone should go full-time. It's very stressful at times. But then two, what's the biggest difference from maybe doing it full-time versus doing it, just as a hobby? Because I think a lot of people would be interested in that.
Yeah, I think whether you're full-time or not, there's two things. It's just two simple things that make up winning in sports betting. It's good information and places to bet the good information, right? So you need outs, accounts, connections, people to help you. You need places to bet. You need good stuff to bet. If you have one and not the other, you're screwed. And if you have both, you're in really good shape. So it's just when you really just break it down to the two most simple things, it's good information and places to bet the information. And as far as differences between full-time and not full-time, I would say the biggest thing is it's like anything else, I would imagine, at least when, you don't have a guaranteed check. Like you always have that little bit of extra drive to work harder. So even when things are going really well, like, this is like my fourth year of just betting now. And, there's still like always that little bit in like the back of my head that like, I don't really allow myself to take a break because it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a good distinction, man. That's definitely a good point. I think some people take it both ways. Some people can crumble, you know, and crumble under the pressure. But some people are like, fuck it, I need to work more, you know, I need to be more driven because it isn't guaranteed. And betting's one of the most volatile games in the world. One thing I'll ask you before we get into this Amorim versus Mizuki fight to kick off the card, because I have seen throughout the last 7 years of being online, it's a long fucking time now. It's crazy. I've actually been online for long. But I've seen that, and I mean, this is obvious, right? The number one issue with people betting on sports is lack of emotional control, right? Like, that's like the number one issue that plagues people. It's not really good information because you can link up with people and get good information. It's not really places to bet these days because there's these crypto casinos, global sports books that are coming out that let you get 100 grand down on a money line 5 days before the fight if the account's deemed semi-square, which is absolutely crazy. Now, this is specific accounts that I have online. They're a little bit dodgy, you know, maybe you get stiff, but that's another story. But I don't think those two things are that hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, a couple years, you're in the game, you learn things. It's not that hard. Even handicapping, you can learn how to handicap a fight, specifically in MMA. I don't think it takes that long. But what does take very long, in my opinion, and a lot of people never do it, is emotional control. You know, like initially when you're starting out, first couple of years, being able to ride out loss streaks, being able to be in calm on win streaks, not over betting your bankroll when you're doing really well because you think nothing can go wrong, and not over betting your bankroll when you're doing really bad because you're trying to chase bets. That's been the number one issue I've seen by far from anybody in this game. Do you have any advice on how to control your emotions when you're in a win or loss period, regardless?
For me, it was just experience. Like I remember the first year, I just did betting. My first month, I had a really good first month, which was a big weight off my shoulders. I'm like, okay, I can. It was like that just told me I can do this, right? Then a few months down the road, I had a losing month for the first time since I just did betting. It's nerve-wracking at first, but after that, I'm like, okay, I could have a losing month and I'm still okay. After that, it was smooth sailing for me. Once I realized I could have a good month, I could have a bad month, nothing really changed for me. Like, nothing changed about my life. It became obviously I want to do as well as possible, but if I lose every bet I make tomorrow, I'm not going to be thrilled with it, but I'll wake up Sunday and just do the same thing, whether I win every bet or I lose every bet Saturday.
Yeah, it seems like you kind of had that mindset or maybe already coming into it, and that's why you're in the 0.1% who actually, earns a long-term income from sports betting. Hardly anyone does it. And to be honest, man, the more I'm in this game, I kind of just feel like there's no real way to become unemotional. I kind of think maybe you either have it or you don't. You know what I mean? There's just some people are just different in life, man. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what it is. And I can give as much advice as possible, but some people it's just going to be like talking to a brick wall. But then some people, maybe they're in the middle, and that's why I asked for advice from you, because some people I feel like they're in the middle and they don't really know, and they could learn from listening to somebody like yourself. So yeah, Andrew doesn't put out much content these days anymore, boys, but definitely go give him a follow and stuff like that, because you do a tweet, from time to time, and you drop some jewels in there. So yeah, man, everyone definitely go and support Andrew. And like I said, bro, I appreciate you getting on. And let's get into this first fight of the night. We've got Jacqueline Amorim taking on Mizuki Inway. This is a very interesting fight to me, Andrew, because Mizuki Inway is actually a pretty good fighter, in my opinion, overall. She's not a bum. The issue is the entirety of her fighting prime has been taken away from her because she's been riddled with injuries. I think she's had about 2 fights in the last 5 to 6 years. This is going to be her third one in 6 or 7 years. And she's only 31, 32 years old off the top of my head, And I mean, you're talking like, since she turned 26, she's just been riddled with injuries up until she's 32. So it's kind of upsetting because I feel like Mizuki could have had a decent run in the division. I don't think she would have ever been champion, but she's give girls good rounds. She's a very tough girl, I'll say that. And because she's so tough, I instantly started to look at the over in this spot, and currently the over 2.5 rounds is at plus money. So I'd like to hear your opinion on that, because this is actually one bet on the card. I've done most of my slate now in terms of I know what I'm going to bet, and I have bet a lot already. Mizuki Inoue over 2.5 rounds is one I'm looking at, because Amorim, yes, she's very, very dangerous. I don't think she's that dangerous after round one. It's a little bit of a guess because obviously I'm thinking more of the Sam Hughes fight. But I felt she slowed down a bit in the Ruiz fight, wasn't as dominant late as she was initially. And at the end of the day, man, we've been in MMA for a long time. We know that when you get fighters finishing the fight in round one, like, yeah, they might finish fights late, but they're not going to be the same girl or man, right? So that's kind of why I'm looking at it. I'm like, if she does survive round one, this could just go to a decision. So I'm looking at Amorim points at plus 215. I'm looking at Amorim decision, GTD at plus 135. But Mizuki, bro, she's had so many injuries. She's been out for ages. The ring rust is going to be massive. Like, I don't know where she's at this point in time. So I don't know whether she's going to be able to survive the onslaught. Because I know for a fact, even on her best day, she's going to have to survive an onslaught, because Amorim is that good early. So maybe even in her best day, she couldn't survive it. So, yeah, man, that's my thoughts on the fight. I'm picking Amorim decision overall for the pick guys. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I like the dog here. Obviously, a lot of concerns that you mentioned, but this is such a big price tag. It's one of those situations where I call it like an asymmetrical line. Like, I doubt if you and I come on here and do a show in a couple of days, we're like, oh, Amorim minus 400 looked huge value. But I do feel like there's iterations where we sit here in a couple of days and we're like, oh, Mizuki plus 300 was big value. Obviously, inactive, but her last fight was 2 years ago against Goldie, who's, not near the caliber of grappler that Amorim is, but she is a physical fighter, and she went 1 for 14 on takedowns against Mizuki. If you go all the way back to Mizuki's regional career, she fought Jandiroba to a split decision. That fight shouldn't have been a split decision, but the fact that Mizuki survived 5 rounds against Jandiroba, who I think would beat Amorim, tells me she's a competent grappler. And Amorim, in her last few fights, no disrespect to the people she's fought, but haven't exactly been hard matchups. And a couple of them ended really fast. And obviously, the only fight that went to decision was against Sam Hughes, and rounds 2 and 3 were a pretty bad look for her. Obviously, Montserrat Ruiz, just not a caliber of fighter that could give Amorim problems. Poliana Viana practically was like diving to her back, giving up the takedowns. I think if this fight hits round 2 and round 3, you're gonna want to be holding Mizuki ticket. Does that mean she's necessarily going to win? No, I do think the line's wide, and I do think there's a lot of upside for Mizuki here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to advocate for Amorim at minus 400. Once I learned more about the injuries and stuff like that, and then the time off, and I don't know if you heard me speak about earlier in the week, but Mizuki had deleted a photo from her Instagram where she had like a patch over her eye. And I don't know what that is or was from. Maybe she just got like laser eye surgery or some shit. It could be aesthetic. It could be nothing to do with fighting. But it was only like
dressed up as a pirate for Halloween.
Yeah. Maybe. It looked pretty bad. I mean, she was at her mate's fight, and it was post-fight. So I don't think it was a Halloween one, but I have seen. I know you're joking. I have seen a lot of Mizuki's fights where she actually gets swollen up pretty fucking bad. She did in around the eyes. I don't know, like that's just full speculation, but it's just something else I saw. And then with the ACL reconstructions and all of that, I was like, damn, maybe Amorim 400 is right. But yeah, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. One thing I will say though, bro, is I'm assuming you don't mind the over, which I mentioned. Then if you do like Inway, because it's semi-correlated, I would assume the over to an Inway fight. She could finish late, but what do you think about the over?
So the reason I prefer Mizuki moneyline to the over is because I feel like if it does go to decision, Amorim's probably not covering 4-1. Yeah, that's pretty much like if the fight goes 3 rounds, it's like, okay, I guess there are iterations where Amorim just like dumpsters her in the grappling and doesn't submit her. I just think that's kind of unlikely. I feel like if Amorim doesn't submit her, it's probably going to be a competitive fight, or at least more competitive than 4-1.
Yeah. I do push back a little bit. I guess mainly just seeing the Jandiroba fight. She was that. Did you mention that was a split decision?
Yeah, it shouldn't have been. It was silly. It was a clear win for Jandiroba. But
that was a mauling, bro. You know what I mean? That was an absolute domination over 5 rounds as well. I didn't know that was a split decision. I think I didn't even check. I watched the fight, but I don't even think I waited for the call. I could see something like that, seeing that it's like, okay, well, she gets taken down. Why can't Amorim do that every single round, But at the end of the day, bro, it's plus 350. It's a big price tag. We're going to find out tomorrow. The last thing on this fight, because I did want to ask you specifically, I know you wrestled quite a bit back in the day, and I want to ask you about Jacqueline Amorim's wrestling specifically, because when I'm watching tape on her wrestling doesn't look good, right? Like she's slow. She looks very unathletic to the takedown, to be honest, bro. Like she's very slow in on the legs, but somehow all of these chicks she takes down. So I'm like, she must be doing something right. Like I've done wrestling and grappling for a couple of years at this point, like 4 or 5 years, like on and off, nowhere near the level you did. So I know it to a bit of a degree, but you're much higher level than me. So I want to ask you about that. Like, what do you make of her wrestling?
So I would say it's somewhere in the middle, right? Like she's not like a great wrestler, but she has competent wrestling. Like a perfect example is the Viana fight, because to me, like Viana's takedown defense is so bad, it looked like she was diving to her back every time Amorim took a shot. And then another thing that stands out to me is if you look at the Hughes fight, when the takedowns weren't coming easy, Amorim was really panicking and pulling guard. I don't know if you remember that. Like even like early in round 2, before she was gassed, like she kind of attempted a takedown, and when it didn't work, she just pulled to her. Like she's very uncomfortable. I think if you could stop her first level of takedown, like I don't think she really feels comfortable chaining takedowns together, but her first attempt is solid, especially for someone who doesn't have that kind of background. Like she's a jiu-jitsu background, which doesn't really emphasize takedowns. So first shot I think is fine. I don't know if she really has the poise or the comfortability to chain them together.
Yeah, interesting. I did want to ask you about that one specifically. All right, so I lean the over. You lean Mizuki, so that's just plus money there all day. Basically, we're just saying the plus money is the side. What we do on this show, Andrew, is after every fight we write down any plus EV bets we believe on the fight. So you don't have to give anything out or whatever. You can just do what you want. But I'm going to write over 2.5 rounds at plus 110. I'm going to write Amorim decision. I won't write Amorim decision. I won't go against you. You want to write Inway money line down, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Do you know off the top of your head is like plus 350 or something like that?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. We don't have to do it exact, but we'll be there or thereabouts. So the next fight is Maksum versus Mitch Raposo. Yeah, so this is an interesting fight to me. Mitch Raposo has gone to 2 split decisions in his last fight, and they were clear losses. The Andre Lima one was even clearer than the Sue one, but the Sue one was also clear. I don't understand how he keeps on getting split decision. Like two judges scored both of those fights for him. Like it's absolutely insane to me, and that's why you always have to be careful betting on MMA. And that's why sometimes taking these big pokes on these dogs in fights where you think the fighter might not finish, sometimes you just fucking run with it, because we got these idiots out there watching fights and judging fights. And we spoke about Kunaev Blades. We just spoke about a massive underdog in a way. Like sometimes you just take the fucking shot on a dog. Mitch Raposo, in my opinion, is a level below Maksum in everywhere, to be honest. I was actually quite impressed with Maksum against Tagir Ulanbekov. I thought he could have got that decision. I actually thought like, arguably he won the fight. I think it was like a 50-50 fight. Maybe I leaned to gear a bit, but like the rounds were so close to where I believe you could have gave him the fight. But then the same token, he had a 50-50 fight with Charles Johnson, and he also had a 50-50 fight with Tyson Nam, which actually did go to a split decision. So this guy's having 50-50 fights with everybody in the UFC, and Charles and Tagir are much higher levels than Tyson Nam. So it kind of tells me that Maksum maybe isn't a great separator. Maksum may go to split decisions against fighters who aren't on his level, like Tyson Nam. And so it could happen here with Mitch Raposo, who is the split decision king, So I wouldn't be advocating for a minus 400, minus 450 Maksum play. But what I don't mind is a submission play, because Mitch Raposo forces wrestling in every single fight that he's ever fought. And Maksum took down Tagir Ulanbekov more than once in his last fight, and stuffed all the takedowns, and dropped Charles Johnson and had him in a very good choke. And I think he's the better wrestler here. So I kind of like the Maksum submission at plus 400 odds. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm in a very similar boat here. I'm not a fan of Raposo's game. Like he tries hard, but he's just not as skilled as Maksum. I don't think he's very athletic. he's reliable to kind of he's tenacious, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But I just think Maksum's the better fighter everywhere, and I guess it could look a little closer than the line indicates, but I also feel like it's just a fight where Raposo has to overcome a lot of challenges and obstacles to win. So I don't mind Maksum submission either. I do think if any of the two of them are going to threaten in that department, it'd be him. Like, he's the better jiu-jitsu player. I think he kind of just has this covered.
Yeah. I kind of see it the same way. I think the main thing for me, though, is like Mitch Raposo's best path to victory is a split decision, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see him winning the fight any other way. Like, he's not winning this fight clean, man. Like, yeah, of course, anything can happen, overhand, whatever, but he's not going to win the fight cleanly 30-27. It's like, I would bet so much money on that, bro. Like, if someone was going to bet me and I had like you judging it, me judging it, not like retards, someone was going to bet me 30, like to bet the no on 30-27 Raposo. I mean, I would take it at a big line, probably the biggest line I ever would take would be that, because I can't see him winning it clean, man. I really can't. I think the only way he wins is a split decision. I think Maksum can drop him. I think Maksum can submit him. And I think Maksum can clean him 30-27. So maybe he is worth the -400 price tag. I personally wouldn't play it just because of the judges and stuff. I'll write Maksum's submission down just for the upside play. I'm going to write +400, guys. If it's wrong, fucking sue me. I don't know. It's roughly right. There anything you want to write down on that one? Over, under, or anything, or not?
Yeah, I think you could pencil me in for that exact same play.
Okay, sweet. That's good. Consensus play there on a +400. We might have to bang that one in a parlay. The next fight of the night, Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Chris Barnett, man. This is something, bro. Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, it's funny because the UFC is like the premier organization, and then we get a fight like this. It's just yeah, man, it's interesting. This is a good fight. It's interesting. It's a fun fight, I think even like no matter how this fight goes, I'm gonna be entertained. If they clinch for 15 minutes, I'm gonna see two fat guys clinching. I'm gonna be laughing. I'm probably gonna be texting you like, haha, this is so funny. This is in the UFC. Look at this shit. Like it's gonna be entertaining in that way. Chris Barnett, for a couple of minutes, he's entertaining regardless. Like, he's funny. He does spinning wheel kicks and that. Tears his own knee because his body can't hold his weight. Like, all respect to him. At the end of the day, he's a UFC fighter, a lot better fighter than me. Like, so it is what it is. But it's going to be entertaining either way. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure you was on the same bet as me, which is pretty embarrassing. So if this wasn't you, I'm sorry.
No, it was me. I already know what you're going to say.
I didn't want to say outright it was you, but no, I'm pretty sure it
very much was.
So me and Andrew both bet on Jake Collier, -300, -350, big price against Chris Barnett. After that fight, I got clowned so badly on social media because, bro, I'm a cocky on social media. I talk shit and that, so I understand. Like, I'm going to get clowned when I lose bets. It is what it is. That's the game. And I got clowned badly when Jake Collier got beat by fucking Chris Barnett and I played him at -350, bro. I had 40 grand on him to win over 10 grand. And man, that was like a punch in the gut when he lost that fight after 10-8 in him in round one. He looked like a -900 favorite. I want to ask you this now because the bias should be gone after 4 years, right? The emotional attachment to that bet. Do you think that was a good or bad bet by us, bro?
I think it was probably neutral. Neutral to slightly good. I feel like Barnett's win condition was literally like getting almost his jaw broken off of his face, like letting Collier gas out and then, ending up on top.
That was so crazy, bro. He slipped.
It definitely was.
He slipped over. I need to rewatch it, man. I need to relive that pain. I can't remember exactly, but he just basically slipped and fell on his ass and couldn't get up because he was too unathletic.
Yeah.
Wow. So could I see the same thing happening there? I feel like that's Chris Barnett's path here, Yeah. He needs to land a spinning wheel kick like he did against John Vellante. Outside of that, I think Hamdi, the main thing about this fight to me, bro, why I think Hamdi is value at -400 is that he's got the wrestling, bro. Like Hamdi's not a bad wrestler. Don't forget what he did to Dante Almeida. I think a lot of people are forgetting that here. Like, I don't think Dante Almeida is the greatest fighter of all time, but I mean, he grapple fucked Dante Almeida. He made him look like a bum. You know, he took him down at will easily. I think he's got the wrestling in his back pocket to take down Chris Barnett. And I don't think Chris Barnett has much off his back at all. And on the feet, I favor him as well. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, in the nicest way possible, I think Chris Barnett's probably the worst fighter on the UFC roster. So, yeah, Hamdi is one takedown away from probably winning the fight on the feet. He's better. Barnett also is just like super inactive and old, and yeah, there's just other than he's a likable person, but other than that, like I just don't have many like positive attributes to talk about.
Yeah, fucking hell, 18 wins by knockout, bro. This guy's been doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
So, do you like anything for that? I mean, obviously, a lot of people will be playing the Hamdi KO and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised by an ugly decision, to be honest. Like just a gassed out decision after round one that he clearly wins.
So the two props I was looking at here, I haven't played them. I was looking at Hamdi round 2 at like plus 450 and round 3 at like plus 900 after Barnett gasses.
Okay. So we'll write down Hamdi round 2, 3. We'll do the odds later if we want to bang it in a parlay. I'm happy to pass on that one in terms of any props or any bets or anything. The next fight is Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Delgado. Nathaniel Wood, good fighter. I'll always support him. Came on, I speak to him every now and then. He's English as well, so I always support the English fighters, no matter who they are, really. And I think that he's the better fighter. I think he's more skilled. The thing is, these guys are at completely different trajectories in their career. Nathaniel Wood just had another baby. Congratulations to him. I know he spoke about retirement recently. My man Dravi told me that, which I didn't actually know. And then Delgado's literally just got into the UFC. He's running through everyone. I'm pretty sure there's going to be multiple knockdowns in this fight. I think this is going to be an absolute banger. Yeah. This is a very, very exciting, striking fight here. Nathaniel Wood has the grappling upside. We've seen Delgado in his lone loss get grapple fucked by Chris McCarthy and dropped in that fight as well. He kind of got ran through, to be honest. Never gave up on himself. He was young. I think he'll improve at this juncture. That's my breakdown of the fight, guys. Do you have a better one, Gombas?
No, I don't have anything here personally. I think it's a banger. I actually have a funny story for you. When who did Delgado fight? Connor Matthews, was it?
Yeah.
So I was looking at the lines like far in advance, and I saw that Delgado was like plus 250, and I taped it, and I'm like, that can't be right. And I'm like, this line should be flipped. Like, I'm getting set up to like make a big bet here. And I realized I read the line backwards, and I wasted all that time and got excited for nothing. I just literally read it the wrong way. Like I thought Delgado was somehow the underdog to Connor Matthews.
Still value.
Yeah, and it's just a funny story. But I think this is a high variance fight. Like given the nature of the two, like it's going to be a banger for lack of a better word. I don't have much in terms of a side. Like gun to my head, I think Delgado gets it done. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Wood's strength of schedule kind of gave him that little extra push towards the end. But I do think Delgado's a little bit more skilled. I like his pace. I like his tenacity. There's a lot to like about this one.
Yeah, great fight, man. I'm passing on it overall. Is there any I would think this fight is a clear unders fight, just because of the way Delgado fights. And obviously Nathaniel Wood, every single fight, there's a knockdown in his fights. I know he always goes to decision, but there is a knockdown in every one of his fights, basically. But Delgado, like, this guy's an under machine. He's a fucking hurricane. Do you know what I mean? He is who he just fought, like Hyder Emil, in terms of, his tenacity and stuff. So I would look to an under. What do you think about the totals?
I'm about fair on it. I think it's kind of funny because I've bet so many Wood unders over the years where it was like plus 200 and they just like slugged it out and it, went 15 minutes and now it's kind of back to like where it probably should be in a fight like this. So I don't have much of an opinion on the total. As far as props, like I'm just looking now, I feel like Wood KO plus 750 is a little bit wide considering it's probably going to be a banger.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever bet on Nathaniel Wood total, to be honest. But this is one I would definitely be looking to an under. But I'm not betting this at all, man. I'm just passing on it. Volkov Walker versus Louis Sutherland. Yeah, it's another heavyweight, funny heavyweight fight. The GTD is plus 240 here, and it kind of interested me because I was like, well, at the end of the day, man, Walter Walker, if you go back and look at his regional tape, he's kind of like a multiple takedown guy. He sits on top, gets a little bit tired. He's not really a heel hooking phenom. I know he's learned it recently, but if he doesn't get it on the first one, I don't necessarily think he's going to keep going for it. And if he does, he might just not get it. I mean, heel hooks at this level are not really like he's not going to keep heel hooking his way to the title. You know what I mean? It would be so funny if he does that and then they clip this up. You know what I mean? Like put a little clown emoji over my face or something. But I
don't think you have to worry about that.
No, I don't think I have to worry about it. But I didn't think I'd have to worry about it, you know, in his last couple of fights, and he keeps on doing it. I bet on him at plus 180 against Kennedy. And when he dropped down for the heel hook, yeah, I felt like you would be on that as well. Like it's kind of a clear, obvious spot, right? But when he dropped down for the heel hook, I'm pretty sure I said like verbally out loud, like, what are you doing, man? And then he literally ripped his knee off 2 seconds later, which is hilarious. You know, I'm probably still going to keep on saying that if he does it, but at some point I'm just going to have to fucking shut up because see if it works. But look, if the heel hook doesn't work, I don't see massive finishing upside out of it just being heavyweight and they swing. I mean, Louis Sutherland doesn't have that much power, in my opinion. Yeah, he's knocked out a couple of guys on the regionals. I don't think he's like this great striker that has a lot of power. I don't think Walker's a bitch and has a bad chin either. Like, I think he's a tough guy. He gasses out a bit, but he's tough. He's 14-1 at the end of the day. I just see this fight. But the thing is, I'd rather play GTD at plus 240, like I already did, than over 1.5 at minus 150. Because at the end of the day, man, if this fight finishes, it probably is a Walker round one crazy attack. Because if you remember, before the Kennedy fight, he actually ran out there like a fucking lunatic, landed a massive overhand. So even without the heel hook, he was forcing the pace crazy. And maybe I'm pretty sure he's going to do that here, which is not good for an under 1.5, over 1.5. But I like GTD here. I'd pick Walker points because I think he's got all the grappling upside. I've seen Sutherland, you know, dominated by Slim Trabelsi on the ground. So I think something similar could happen here. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, again, I'm in the exact same boat. I agree. Like, no side, lean over. Obviously, you know, Walker's hit a few heel hooks in a row, which is really funny. Maybe he could do it again. I mean, if there's a fight where he could potentially do it, I think it'd be here. And at this point, I'd be shocked if he doesn't go for it, right? Like, he's done it successfully so many times now. He's for sure going to try. But, yeah, I tend to think he probably tries once or twice, doesn't get it, and then eventually just – yeah, okay, I'm going to ride this out on top.
Yeah, and the thing is, at heavyweight, though, it is a dangerous game if you don't get it, you know? So hearing you say that, I'm thinking about it out loud. At the end of the day, man, Sutherland's not the best fighter of all time, but he's fucking 265, 6'3" human. If Walker goes to a heel hook and doesn't get it, he might be off his back eating punches, and 1 or 2 punches from top position could change the entire game. The only thing I think that would combat what I just said is that I kind of feel like if Walter goes for a heel hook, Louis is just going to run away and not try and stay on top. So maybe he won't be able to ground and pound him. You know, like that Charles Oliveira effect where no one just wants to go near his guard. It could be that now. I feel like Walker has the aura now, so people might just not want to go in his guard. But yeah, we'll see. Like you said, man, Louis Sutherland, if he could get heel hooked, he is the type of guy who maybe would get heel hooked. I said that about Kennedy as well, which was so crazy where it actually happened. I said it live on this show, and then seeing it was mad. I know somebody who's training with Louis Sutherland, and I won't go too in depth, but what I will say is that the information I got was like Walker can probably get takedowns here, like pretty easily. And I mean, we see that on tape anyway, but it's just more confirmation of even recent Louis tape. So yeah, I'm gonna write the GTD there. If it's not plus 240 the chat, you can call me a fraud and I'll change it. But I bet it at plus 240. I'm sure it's changed a bit now. I wouldn't be surprised. But is there anything you want to write for that one?
I'll go not the exact same, but I will go with Walker decision plus 330.
Yes, nice. All right, nice. I'll let you take the next couple away, bro, because I've been going first on them all. And this is a one I definitely want your take on. One of the most intriguing fights on the card. Klein versus Rebecki. Who you got?
This is a really hard one for me. Like, out of all the fights we've talked about and are going to talk about, I think this is like one of the least confident that I am of any of the matchups, just because Klein, obviously, you know, good striker, has serious power. He's a strong guy. Times where we've seen him lose has been because like the the Gamrot fight, like he ends up getting held down, taken down over and over and over. Rebecki, you know, he's kind of a tank. He comes forward, decent on the feet. Takedowns are probably his best path here, but I've always just kind of felt like I've been a little bit lower on him than the market in general. It's not that he's not good, but I don't think he's as good as he gets priced typically. Chris Duncan,
Yeah.
you know, all the respect to Chris Duncan, but like he got beat. Like Chris Duncan's not in the top 10 right now. He's not in the top 5. He beat Rebecki pretty soundly, and to me that was kind of like a tell of like, okay, Rebecki's not this guy who a lot of people think he is. Like I bet CDF against him, and you know, once that initial swarm was done, it was like, okay, things are gonna flip pretty quickly here. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens after like Rebecki gets a takedown or two. Like, is he gonna hold Klein down, or is Klein gonna get back up? Because if Klein gets back up, he's probably gonna be landing the better shots on the feet. Like he's a pretty explosive striker. I think it's one of those fights where it probably plays out close a lot of the time. And I think like rounds are close. And the total is a tough one here too, because I feel like it's going to be a banger in a sense. But also I feel like if Rebecki's trying a lot of takedowns, they could kind of be up against the cage for a long period of time. So I don't know. All in all, I say all this to say I'm very torn on the fight in general. Like gun to my head, I'll pick Klein, but it's not a confident one for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because like we always break down the fights. We always break down the fights that we don't know what the fuck's going to happen for the longest, you know? Like I find myself talking about the fights where I don't have a read on for ages. And then the fights I have a read on, I'm super quick. And that's just because we're trying to like, you know, think of all possibilities because we don't have a strong read on it. And I'm not in the same boat on this one as you as much. I'm kind of picking Klein a lot based on, I'm basically picking Klein because of two main things. One, I agree with you about Rebecki not being what he's been priced at, not being maybe what his record was showing. You know, 20-1 coming into the UFC, like meant to be this superstar, and he's shown himself to be not a top 15 guy. I'll say that, right? He's not even a top 15 guy in the world. You know, he's a similar level to Klein, similar level to some of these other guys, and I think that is wrestling. Someone said in the chat I saw here that is wrestling is like underrated, but I feel like it might be a little bit, I don't want to say overrated because I don't know other people's opinions. What I want to say is in this matchup specifically, I think Ludovic Klein's going to have a better time stuffing Rebecki's takedowns than some of the people who have been able to grapple him, which really is like Mateusz Gamrot. I mean, Gamrot shot 11 takedowns in that fight. Only got 6 of them, you know, so he's stuffing half of Gamrot's takedowns. And Gamrot is reshooting, re-wrestling extremely well. Rebecki doesn't do it nowhere near as good. And also, Gamrot, one of the best wrestlers in the division. And he has such a specific, unique style of wrestling that it's extremely hard to prepare for. And I don't think Rebecki's on that level at all. So people might watch the Gamrot fight and say, oh, it's just easy to take down. I just think it's such a different matchup. I think you have to go back and look at some of his other matchups to really judge his wrestling defense. Not to say he's ever fought any like great wrestlers. But yeah, I just don't think you can really look at that Gamrot fight and make any real conclusions from it. Rebecki, he took a lot of fucking punishment against Chris Duncan. You know, I was there live and I saw that live. And he was actually, I was in the apex, right? So I was super close to it. Rebecki's blood was basically on my fucking face, bro. That's how close I was from it. I could hear him grunting in the cage. Like it was very, very intimate. And the amount of punishment I saw him take there and the way he kept crashing the pocket and closing distance the exact same way that was getting him caught by big knees and big straight hands for the entire 15 minutes. I was like, this guy's just fucking a bit of a moron, bro. He's just like running straight forward into range, you know, like with no care about his health at all. And it's clear to see from the Diego Ferreira fight, from the Orobai fight, from the Duncan fight, like he doesn't really have a plan B, bro. Like he just basically runs forward into range. If he can over physical you and grapple you, he does. If he can't, then he's going to get pieced up a little bit because he's definitely the worse inferior striker here. Ludovic Klein's actually a very technical striker. Orobai is not necessarily super technical. Chris Duncan is more than Orobai, but I'd say Ludovic Klein probably a little bit more technical than both of them. And I could see the high kick landing here. I could see the knee up the middle landing here. Ludovic Klein throws some good front kicks to the face and to the body. And the way Rebecki just runs straight forward in a straight line, I think he could get hit to the face and the head with that. So I'm picking Klein here. You know, maybe I'm overrating Rebecki's damage, Rebecki bleeding, Rebecki swollen a lot. Maybe I'm overrating that a bit, but that was 2.5 months ago, bro. I was in Vegas for it 2.5 months ago. I couldn't imagine him getting back into the octagon right now. So I'm going to pick Klein for that reason. And yeah, one thing I will say is like he kind of Rebecki reminds me of Rinat Fakhretdinov a little bit, you know, to where he's very, very strong in round one, but he gasses out a bit. He's got like basically the same record, and he's kind of proven himself to maybe not be at that top 15 level. So yeah, I just thought that comparison when I was breaking him down. Is there anything you want to write down for this one? I'm assuming not with your take.
I've written down something for every fight, so I'm going to keep it going. Let's see.
Go.
I'm going to go with Klein decision plus 220. I think Rebecki takes a lot of damage, but hangs in there.
What's the over 2.5? Do you know?
I think it's like evens.
Okay, I'm going to write the over 2.5 because
minus 135.
Yeah, I don't mind it. All right, Ikram Aliskarov versus Junyoung Park. What do you think about this one, bro?
Yeah, I think the money line and total are not properly correlated here. Aliskarov is, you know, all round one. Park is a very reliable guy. Like if there's a couple things that you know for sure you're getting with him, you're getting output, you're getting cardio, you're getting a guy who's, you know, he's not amazing anywhere, but he's pretty he's respectable everywhere. Aliskarov is a big hitter. He's a little bit bigger than Park. Hasn't been pushed in the UFC. Like he's either knocked the guy out in the first round or, you know, the time he got knocked out in the first round. So I think if this fight extends, there's a lot of question marks about Aliskarov. Like I can't really get to a world where Aliskarov's, you know, minus 220 and the under 2.5 is like minus 120. Like I don't think those are correlated. I think if the fight goes over 2.5, Aliskarov probably doesn't look minus 220. So Park and under would be my two.
Yeah, I don't mind that angle. This is a very tough one for me because I just, even though he's got 18 fights, I feel like I don't really know what Aliskarov is, which is crazy because, I mean, the guy's just like knocking out everyone in round one. Robert Whittaker finished him in like a minute. And at the end of the day, man, who has Robert Whittaker done that to, you know, in his recent career? I mean, almost ever. Like Robert Whittaker doesn't do that, you know, it just doesn't happen. Obviously, you know, shit happens. He gets caught with a head kick, but I don't think that was a great look, to be honest, man. And then outside of that, he's just finishing everyone in round one. There's nothing happening in the Muniz fight. You know, he's just kind of walking him down a bit more physical and it lands a big shot. The issue with Junyoung Park is like he's got bad takedown defense and he can be grappled fairly easily. And also his chin can be cracked a little bit. And if Ikram has anything, it's power and wrestling. So on the one hand, I feel like he's not proven at all. This is an insane line. Junyoung Park is the side all day. This is crazy. And on the other hand, I'm like, but Ikram might have the two things that Park struggle with, you know? So this is kind of like power / wrestling early versus cardio and just well-roundedness for me. Honestly, bro, like out of all of the big dogs on the card, Junyoung Park is one that I was looking at. And I still kind of am. So yeah, hearing that you kind of agree to some degree with that as well makes me like him even more. I still haven't decided what I want to do with this one, boys, but don't be putting Ikram in your parlays. And it's funny because I made a parlay just for social media, just a fuck around one. I just put some small money on it and I included Ikram in the parlay because I did like a prelim parlay. But that's what I always say, boys, like my social media shit, I'm just doing that for fun. Like we make parlays at the end of the show. That's for fun. That's not what I'm actually putting real money on. I put real money on separate bets, my straight bets, my singles, my two-leggers. My prelim and main card parlays, I don't listen to these. Don't listen to this parlay show. Put all your money on the bets that we do at the end of the show and think that you're going to become rich, because I get a lot of fucking viewers on this YouTube channel now, and most of them are just recreational sports bettors. So I need to constantly say that, boys. I know you guys been listening to me for a long time. You're going to be like, oh, I've heard this a million times. But boys, like, there's a difference between me having fun on parlay fucking madness versus what I'm really big staking on. So just keep that one in mind. Yeah, Ikram's in a parlay, but I might actually bet on Junyoung Park. Ikram's in a parlay for $500. I might put $7,000 on Junyoung Park tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? It's a completely different thing. So anyway, rant over. I'm gonna write Junyoung Park, bro. Like, if you could tell me the odds, if you have it up there, and then just let me know if you won anything.
Yeah, he is currently like plus 185, plus 190.
Oh fuck, I thought it was a bit better than that, but
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
For me, I'm going to get a little creative here. I'm gonna say Junyoung Park wins by TKO in round 3, plus 3,300.
Bro, that's so good. Can you tell me part round 3? Because bro, he loves that top position and he loves to fish for that gilly. Sorry, he loves to fish for that rear naked.
We should maybe put half the money on round 3 at plus 1,500 and half at TKO round 3 plus 3,300.
Yeah. Boys, Gombas only been on the show 46 minutes and we're already turning him degenerate. We're doing a good job.
I came prepared. I knew the assignment. I knew what I was signing up for.
You understood the assignment. What's you said 33 for TKO round 2. What was the round 3, bro?
No, round 3. TKO round 3 is 33-1, and just round 3 is 15-1.
Yeah, they're pretty onto it then, they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think regardless of if I play the money line, which I probably have to if I play round 3, because I'll be so gutted if he gets it late too. But I reckon I'll end up with a round 3 bet, like an official bet this weekend, bro, to be honest, man. Can you mention if you've played Park?
I did a little bit, like not even a full position. Like I took some plus 220 because it seemed like it was moving down a little bit, and I just never. Yeah. I felt like for whatever reason there was gonna be a little bit of pushback on Aliskarov, and it just never came. So I don't know I don't really have like a unit per se, but I don't know, maybe like a half unit if you want to call it that on Park plus 220.
Yeah, I definitely thought Ikram would get smashed. Into some parlays. Aliskarov, he got that OV name, but obviously that's not always what moves the line, but sometimes it does on these big pay-per-views. So we got Salkilld versus Haqparast here. This is a very good fight. Salkild's like a good fighter. He does a lot of the right things. I mean, anytime you're going to shoot 15, 20 takedowns like he did against Ashmuz and against Gage Young back-to-back, obviously you're going to be in with a chance of getting a good win streak in the UFC, beating a lot of guys up until you hit the real upper echelon. I wouldn't call Nasrat the upper echelon, but I would call Nasrat a very tough test for basically anyone in the division. If you get past Nasrat, you're basically the real deal, and you're going to be in the top 15 or at least fight for that position. If you can't beat Nasrat, you're basically just outside the top 15 to top 25. That's kind of where you are. So this is a big show me spot for Quillan Salkilld. I'll say that I know personally that he's had a rough weight cut, which is not good. He flew 10 hours from Australia. It might even be longer than that. I don't know exactly. But he flew from Australia to Abu Dhabi on 10 days' notice. Haqparast has been in the country for months training. This is his 4th opponent that they tried to give him. So he knows he's been fighting on this card for a long time. So I think there's a lot of things that are kind of in the way of Quillan here, which I don't love for him. If this was like a full camp in Australia or in Vegas, I might be on Quillan at plus 100 or something. But this is a big pass fight for me. I don't mind the over at Chalk. Feel like both guys are very tough, and I don't think they really possess too much danger. What do you think of this one?
This is another one I went back and forth on. Like, my initial gut was telling me Haqparast, Salkild's only fought 2 guys who are both, in my opinion, not good fighters. Haqparast, his volume's very reliable. He's hung in there with good guys. At the end of the day, the reason why I went back and forth, and I think I eventually end up picking, not confidently, but picking Salkilld, is he just has certain tendencies that typically fare well in the UFC. Like, he shoots a lot of takedowns, he throws a lot of punches, he pushes a pace, like almost like a a Marab light or like Anthony Hernandez light. Like that game typically works well. And a guy like Dan Hooker, who's not known for his offensive grappling, like dumpstered Haqparast pretty bad in the grappling, and then he fought Jared Gordon a couple fights later, and his I thought his takedown defense looked pretty good there. So I don't really know what to expect. Like if he improved in that department, or if Gordon just doesn't present the same degree of trouble that Dan Hooker does in that situation. But this is a really hard fight to call. Gun to head, I'll say Salkilld, but if you ask me again in an hour, I might say Haqparast.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same position, man. Betting money lines on this fight to me seems kind of crazy. By the end of the day, everyone's got different reads and different takes, like as well. What do you think about the over 2.5 rounds? It's like -200. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I do lean that way. I get a little nervous about betting that, about betting overs in fights where the pace is going to be really high. But I do think a lot of iterations of this fight, there's, Salkilld shooting a lot of takedowns and pushing Haqparast up against the cage. I don't think he submits him at a high clip. So I do think this one goes the distance, pretty good amount. I do lean towards the over here.
Yeah, because I personally don't see much submission. Like, yeah, I guess Quillen could have some submission attempts and stuff like that. I don't think he's shown like this great jiu-jitsu game, to be honest, at all. And then he's also fought nobody, So, and I haven't seen Nasrat look so terrible in jiu-jitsu at all. Like, it's kind of a guess, in my opinion. And then outside of that, Nasrat could chin him, but Quillen looks extremely tough to me. And Nasrat doesn't have many knockouts, bro, at the end of the day. Like, he's tagged a lot of people on the chin, and he hasn't got many knockouts, man. So I kind of like that. And I do get nervous as well, like with the pace, because the pace will be fought at a high spot. But I've actually made a lot of money over the past, 5 years on betting on sweaty fights to GTD, because no one wants to bet on a GTD where a fighter is going to be shooting 25 takedowns. Like, no one really wants to do that. But if the guys are both tough, I have found a bit of an edge there. Because I'll bet these spots quite a lot, and people will be like, man, that's going to be a crazy fight. I would only rather be on the under. But sometimes there's a little bit more, into it, which is really the toughness of the fighters. Honestly, bro, if you get two tough fighters in there, they can really carry you over the line, even in a fucking hellacious war, man. They really can. Someone like Marvin Vettori comes to mind, bro. Like, that guy has been destroyed 100 fucking times, and he just carries you over to that over 2.5, 4.5, because he's so fucking tough. And I kind of feel like Quillen, although he's not proven, he is kind of tough. So I'll probably do the over, and I will write it down here. But I'm still deciding on it, and there's a reason I haven't played it yet. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's a smash spot at all. So I'll write down 210. It was the last I saw it on Bet Online. Is there anything you want to write down for this?
I'll go one step further. I'll go yes goes distance -155.
Fuck, so they're giving a lot for the the GTD. Fuck, I don't mind -155. I might have to chalk up and play that. I guess Quillen could like pace him late, and Quillen did gas out in that Ashmoose fight, but I don't know. I think I might prefer. Do you prefer the goes to decision there or the over?
I think I slightly prefer goes to decision, but they're probably pretty close. Like, I'm just doing the math in my head.
Yeah. So we're on the main card now. This is Azamat Murzakanov versus Alexander Rakic. These guys looked all of 6'4" and 5'10" at weigh-ins. Massive height advantage, but Azamat is used to that, to be honest. Same in the Jacoby fight, same in a couple of other fights as well. He's always the shorter guy at light heavyweight. He honestly looks like a middleweight frame, but he is definitely a big guy. He can land his shots well. What do you think about this one, bro?
Yeah, I mean, talking about fights that I went back and forth on, like, I initially was like, okay, yeah, Rakic here, like, no brainer. He's way bigger. He's fought way better people. Then I tape it a little more, and I'm like, Murzakanov does one thing on the feet, which, it's funny. I can't even call it a combination, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He steps off to the left and then throws a big left hand, and that's all he does on the feet. Yeah. And you know who else does that is Ankalaev. And Ankalaev did that to Rakic over and over and over, and Rakic just had no answer for it. It's like it's a basic combination that I don't even think you could call it a combination. It's just he steps to the left and throws a left hand. But the fact that Rakic just kept getting hit with that over and over and made no adjustments on like defensively to stop it was for me a bad look. I do think Rakic is a more diverse striker. I think his size plays a big factor here. Like I trust his cardio more. It's a tough one, man. Like I also just don't love Rakic's toughness. I hate saying it like that, but I think I wish he had a little bit more dog in him. That being said, the fact that he's bigger, the fact that he's fought better people, the fact that I trust his cardio more, I'm gonna pick him here.
Yeah, it's funny because I was the complete opposite, bro. Like when I saw the line, I saw Murzakanov at like plus 100, and I was like, oh, I might be interested in that, A Murzakanov, he can land that big shot. I don't really like how Rakic looks when he gets hit. He's undefeated, he's coming into this with good career trajectory. If he wins, he's going to be on the heels of a title shot. And then I taped it, and then I was like, oh shit, I might have to bet Rakic here. Because I was like, Murzakanov, bro, this guy just was very underwhelming to me on tape. I will give him a bit more credit in the striking department, like that, than you did. I do think he's got some pretty good tools, some cool uppercuts, some cool shots to the body. He folded Devin Clark with a body shot that was pretty fucking solid when Devin Clark was up against the cage. Obviously, he had the flying knee against Tafon and that. So I feel like he's quite crafty. The issue is, bro, he does like maybe 4 bursts around, of really cool shit. Like that overhand is definitely his best shot, especially being a shorter guy. But like he does like 4 bursts around, one every minute. And then he recharges for 60 seconds, and then he does some other cool shit. And at the end of the day, man, he's just getting kicked. His legs are getting kicked apart. He's getting jabbed in the face. He's getting head kicked for the majority of the round. And I feel like Rakic can do that easily here. Like, I'm pretty sure Rakic is going to be out voluming him. He's going to be looking really good. It's just, does he get cracked by the big shot? The issue is every single fight that Murzakanov has ever fought, he did hurt his opponent, even in that decision fight against Jacoby. Like, he's hurting Jacoby, almost finishing him more than once, to be honest. So he dropped him twice, I think. So yeah, it's definitely a risky bet. But for me, bro, I'm on Rakic here all day, man. I mean, he's fought the way better fighters. We could even see a return to the head kick, man. The size, bro, I'm speaking from experience. If you're 6'4" fighting a 5'10" guy, it is so easy to head kick them. Like, it's like a body kick on someone your height is Azamat's head. You know what I mean? So, like, it's very, very easy to just whip your kick up there fast. I could definitely see the return to the head kick knockout like he did against Jimmy Manoa that keeps on getting replayed on every single Rakic fight, and then he's never done anything close since. But it looks pretty cool. That was a great knockout. But I honestly feel like we could see the return of it. I mean, I've seen Azamat gas out multiple times, not just once. The Justin Jacoby round 3 was a terrible look. So, yeah, I got Rakic here. If he loses, he's going to get knocked out brutally. So, I'll get laughed at. But that's the game we play, innit? So I'll put Rakic down here at... I'll write minus 110, but I don't know if it's changed at all. I'll write Rakic round 3. I love that one. Plus, I'll write plus 1,400 because I think it's changed again. What about you, bro?
I'll go with... I'm going to say Rakic wins by decision plus 225.
Okay, nice. Rakic decision.
Hey, you start this next one. I just got to grab my charger really quick.
Okay, bro. So it's Volkov versus Jolton Almeida. We got another Alexander here. And I'm on the 2 Alexanders here. I got Alexander Volkov as a big plus money dog here. I think that Jolton Almeida, the way he grunted at me in the PI, he's gonna get his comeuppance for that. You can't be doing it. No, I'm joking. He's all good. Jolton's all good. He said hello, but if you watch my full card breakdown, you know what I'm talking about. But no, I just feel like Jolton Almeida is extremely unproven at this level. The one fighter he fought who was like really at that top level, he was looking amazing, and then he kind of semi-quit on a shot. And I don't think that was a good look. In the Spivak fight, he looked extremely uncomfortable. He got reversed in that fight, and he looked uncomfortable from bottom position. Spivak was landing big shots on him. I thought he might quit again. He didn't. Shout out to him. In a Derek Lewis fight, there was times where it looked bad and he didn't quit. He kept taking him down. But Volkov is a real heavyweight here. Volkov weighed in at about 260. Jolton weighed in about 240, roughly. I saw that this morning. So Volkov's going to have 20 pounds on Jolton Almeida. Volkov's a big guy, bro. At the end of the day, Volkov is the much better striker. He has way more power. He's way more proven. He has way more will to win. He has way better cardio. He's fought way better guys. He's beat way better guys. And he's lost against way better guys. And he's the real heavyweight. You know, so, I mean, and he's got more UFC experience. So those are 10 irrefutable facts, right? Like, that is a fact. Everything I said there is a fact. Now, what Jolton has is elite wrestling and grappling and athleticism and physicality for the weight class. And it could just be that he takes Alexander Volkov down and he submits him within a round or two. I would be extremely worried if he doesn't submit Volkov early, because I think the tides can turn massively there. So I like Volkov in this one, boys. I think that it's a scary bet because Jolton is obviously very dominant in his wins, but I do like Volkov. So I'm going to write Volkov at plus 170. Boys, you can tell me if the line has flipped like crazy, and then I'll change it. I like Volkov TKO. Bless me. I bet Volkov TKO up plus 300 here. And then we got Andrew back as well. So interested to hear your take on this one, Andrew.
This is Volkov versus Almeida.
Yes, yes.
I went with Almeida here. This is another one where going into tape, I thought I was going to like Volkov. And I was kind of just like, okay, he's had some fights in his career where his grappling defense looked pretty good. And then he had some fights in his career where his takedown defense looked pretty bad. And I feel like whenever he's fought like that caliber of grappler, it hasn't looked great. Like Blades took him down 14 times. Aspinall took him down and submitted him. Even Gane in his last fight, like got in on a double leg. And what I really noticed is when Volkov gets taken down against the fence, he's pretty good at getting up. Like he does a good job of using the cage to get up. But I feel like if he gets put on his back in the middle of the cage, I don't see him getting up. I feel like Almeida is better on top than Blades, for example. Obviously, you know, there's some things going for Volkov here. Like he's very big. He's pretty reliable cardio. He's a better striker. I just feel like Almeida is going to get in on his legs right away. And I don't like how Volkov defends double legs, even like against a guy like Gane. I also don't mind the over here. I feel like a lot of the narratives are wrong in this fight. Like Volkov, you know, he's pretty competent as a submission, like in terms of submission defense. And I know Almeida has a bunch of round one submissions, but like if you look at who those were against, like especially early in his UFC run, it was against guys who were just not even the caliber of fighter that could stop that. Like I'm looking at his record now. Like Danilo Marquez finished in round one, Parker Porter finished in round one, Anton, you know, Turkliaj finished in round one. I think it's more likely than people are giving credit for that Jalen could win a decision here. And I think it's not one of those spots where if Volkov gets taken down, he's going to get submitted right away. So I feel like I'm seeing this fight a little differently than a lot of people for those reasons. But I'm going to go with Almeida just because I don't like the way Volkov defends takedowns against high-caliber grapplers, which I do think that Almeida is.
Yeah, fair enough. It's funny because I had the same thought, you know. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to bet Volkov here. It's like plus 130. I was like, let me see tape. And then after tape, I was like a little bit more uninspired, you know, because Jolton is very, very aggressive. He was even a little bit better than I remembered at wrestling and grappling. And then Volkov, you know, seeing the Gane fight, I was like, seeing the Tom fight, obviously he got completely rammed through there. And then seeing the Gane fight, I was like, I don't know if I want to bet him. But then the line kept growing, bro. And then it went plus 150, and then it went plus 160, and then it went plus 195, bro. And I was like, all right, it's getting absolutely crazy right now. So, yeah, I kind of was, my hand was forced. I mean, it seems like a pick and fight to me. I don't think it's much difference from a pick and fight. Gary said, like, twice in the chat that he's been subbed in round 1 5 times. No, he hasn't been subbed in round 1 5 times. He's been subbed in round 1 time in the last 10 years, I believe, actually. He got subbed by Tom Aspinall. That's the only time he got subbed in general in the UFC. I think he got subbed in round 1 twice before in like 2010, like 2012, 2015. You're talking 10 to 15 years ago. So that's extremely different from being subbed in round 1 5 times. He basically got subbed in round 1 once, right? It did this version of Volkov. Can't go back to a 2010 fight, in my opinion. Yeah, so yeah, I'm on Volkov here. Is there anything you want to write down? Like, I've wrote Volkov down, so maybe we don't write Jolton because we don't want to go necessarily fully against each other. But you like the over?
I got one. I'll go Almeida wins by decision plus 500.
All right. You can add that in your parlay, but I'll be rooting against you, bro. But I'll still bet it because I still bet all of the parlays that we make on this show. So we'll run through these last two and then we'll make some parlays, bro, which is what everyone's here for. We got Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Mario Batista. Take this one away, bro. This is a great fight.
Yeah, I've said this a couple times this week, and I feel like people kind of get wide-eyed about it. So I'm curious your thoughts. I said before Umar fought Merab, I said I think they're both top 5 pound for pound. Is that a crazy take?
Who, Batista or Merab?
No, Umar and Merab.
Definitely not crazy. Yeah, no, of course. Well, Merab obviously is, right? So then is Umar as well? Yeah, Umar, top 5. Probably not top 3, but top 5, yeah. Why not?
I think he's extremely skilled everywhere. And you look at Merab, like, has beaten so many good guys so badly. Like, look at what he did to Jan. Look at what he did to O'Malley. I bet him against Umar, and like he won the fight, but he didn't do it. He didn't do what he did to those guys to Umar. Like Umar won 2 rounds of that fight, and he's very well rounded. The Sandhagen fight impressed me. I'm not sitting here telling you to play minus 600 on him, but I do think he's going to win this fight clean. I like how defensively responsible he is on the feet. He's a very good grappler. He could wrestle. He could. He's a strong top game. I like his game overall. I agree with him getting a lot of respect. Batista's a solid fighter. I bet him a lot. I just think this is a levels thing. Umar is on that next level, and I think he's going to get it done clean.
Yeah, I fully agree, man. We might see what everybody thought Patchy was going to do to Mario happen here. I think Umar might submit him, honestly, bro. And I think you got a minus 600 price tag and you got a plus 400 price tag for Umar submission. I think you got to play that. Yes, Umar has been to decision against a lot of guys, but at the end of the day, man, he's an elite back taker and a rear naked choke and a wrestler and a grappler. So he's not just going to get decisions for the rest of his career. Of course, he's going to get some submissions, and I don't see why he can't get it here. Mario Batista gives his back up. Mario Batista has been submitted before. It's not like this guy's impenetrable. I think he's a great fighter, man. I like Mario Batista a lot. I think I'm almost certain you would have been on it. The entire community was on Mario Batista against Patchy Mix, so we all love him for that. But this is a levels fight, like you said. One thing that's really interesting to me is like Nurmagomedovs have massive pull in this region of the world. This is known throughout Russia. This is known throughout the Middle East. I said before the Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes fight, before the first fight, that the line was crazy, right? And I bet plus 400, whatever. And then before the second fight, I bet the over 4.5 rounds. And I think you did that with me as well. And I didn't bet Paul Hughes. And I said Usman was minus 900 here because they are going to rig it for him if he loses the fight, right? And Paul Hughes doesn't have finishing upside against him, really. Yeah, he slows down a bit, but I expect Usman to be better. I genuinely thought Usman is minus 900 because he literally has the judges there. And he got 50-45s in that second matchup in the exact same place, Dubai, as they robbed Paul Hughes from the cards in the first fight. That's clear robbery and clear rigging. You can't argue with that. So Usman was never losing that fight. He was minus 900. And I honestly feel like if they go to a decision here, and I'm not saying Abu Dhabi is the exact same as Dubai, because I don't know the ins and outs, but I'm pretty sure if they go to a decision here in Abu Dhabi, Umar is going to get all of the decision love. So I think Mario Batista, to me, basically needs a finish to win the fight. So I don't think he's getting a finish over fucking Umar, bro. So I think Umar's massive I don't want to say massive value. I think I'm minus 600. Market's not wrong in my opinion, but we'll see. We'll see. I like Umar submission, and I'll write that one down. What about you?
Yeah, I'll piggyback that one. I have an interesting question for you as well. Who besides Merab at 130? Like, okay, so take Merab out. Who do you think at bantamweight gives Umar his hardest fight?
So we got Peter Yan, we got Sean O'Malley. Maybe the next challenger for the belt, which is Peter Yan. He would probably compete, but I still think Umar would beat him. It's funny because when Peter Yan was the champion, I was saying Umar, and Umar was just like, low in the ranks, fighting Brian Kelleher and all them guys. And I said Umar could beat Peter Yan. So I still feel like he'd obviously more likely to beat him now. I guess Peter Yan. Who else is up there, bro? I'm really bad with this type of stuff. I can't really think of any bantamweights.
Like Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen, who obviously already fought, Song Yadong, Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, I mean, out of them, it's got to be Yan. Corey and Yan are similar.
Yeah,
I think Corey
so too.
can scramble. Who would you pick out of who you? I'm assuming you're picking Merab, like outright pick against Yan. Who would you pick if Umar fought Yan?
Umar.
Yeah, he's a really good fighter, bro. Like that.
Yeah.
That fifth round was extremely close, and to lose round 3 and round 4 against the pace king, going into round 5, he was winning that round up until 4 minutes and 15 seconds for me. Umar was edging it. I don't think it was a dominant round for Umar in round 5, but he was winning the fight. There was 45 seconds left in round 5, and I thought, oh shit, Umar's going to win the title after losing round 3 and 4. That's crazy that he came back in round 5. And then Merab basically dropped him. It was kind of like half dropped him, and then posed to the crowd, and then single-legged him, threw him on the floor, and did a little dance, and then basically won the round, which was fair enough because he did drop him. So I do think he won the round on damage, but he also won it on optics and stuff like that. So to do that to maybe one of the best fighters we've ever seen is extremely impressive to me. I mean, if Batista fought him, it'd probably be like a Sandhagen type fight. So yeah, man. We both got Uma there. The next one is Vera versus Mackenzie Dern. I got Dern here because I feel like she's more likely to finish the fight by far. She got 5 rounds to do it. I think she's more likely to do damage in top position and on the feet. And I think she's got a little bit better in all realms from the first fight, a little bit better than Vera has. And also, Verna's 38 or something like that, and Mackenzie Dern's just coming into her prime. But I don't love to see Mackenzie's ass all over embedded and that. I'm like, fuck, like, she's all drinking champagne in the jacuzzi and that. I'm like, man, like, I know this means absolutely nothing. But then I see Verna, looking, she got her glasses on. She comes in looking like all business. And at the end of the day, that first fight was a 50-50 fight, man. And then I just feel like everyone's on Dern, and I just fucking hate that shit, like, I don't know. But yeah, I got Dern here for sure, bro. Like, I think she's just improved more. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight. I bet Vera the first time they fought, and I was curious to see how she approached it, right? Because obviously these are the two best, female grapplers in the sport, and Dern is a better jiu-jitsu player. Vera is a better wrestler. So I'm like, okay, is Vera going to try to top time Dern here and try to stay as safe as possible on top, land a little bit of ground and pound? It turned out she was pretty afraid to go to the ground with Dern. So, all these years later, is that going to be the same? Is she going to take the same approach? Is she going to try to avoid the ground with Dern? Because, Dern at the time I felt like was a little bit better of a striker. But if you remember, Vera cracked her nose at one point in that fight too. And it wasn't uncompetitive on the feet. Like, it was a close fight. Like I think you mentioned earlier, the same thing. I do think Dern's striking has improved since then. I'm not positive I'm not sure how Vera will look in rounds 4 and 5. I feel like she's the more likely of the two to cardio dump, but I do feel like that's because she's the more likely of the two to work harder. Dern kind of, she's tough and she gets after it, but she's not going to be the one looking for takedowns here. I don't think. Like, she's not going to, be look. She's not going to have that grind style that Vera might have. I think if they stand, it's going to, kind of look like the first fight, except, Dern, I give more upside in the later rounds. If anyone's to finish, like she has more finishing equity between the two. I do think that's a fight that goes the distance at more often than not, though, at a pretty good clip. I don't give Vera much finishing upside at all, like almost no submission upside. Like imagine if someone submitted Dern, like that'd be crazy.
Nah.
And as far as a knockout goes, like she's not going to one punch KO her, so it would probably have to be like an attritional KO. And same thing on the flip side. So I think Dern's going to win. I'm not playing -150 because I do think a lot of iterations play out close. But yeah, I think just given, my trust in her in the later rounds, plus, she's significantly younger, she's more finishing upside. I think she's a deserved favorite.
Yeah. Interesting what you said about the over. Like, you think it goes more likely. I don't mind that. It's been hit a bit now. Maybe you caused that one, but it's like -130 GTD, which is not the worst, bro. Like you said, it's basically all on the Dern side. Who is Dern really? Dern, I don't think Dern will submit Jandiroba. Like, I think she can definitely sweep her and put her in submission attempts. To actually get the submission is very different than at that level. To actually
100%, bro, 100%.
It's a massive difference because I could imagine people play, Dern submission because she's a great jiu-jitsu, and they're like, oh, she had an armbar, but like, if you really grapple, there's a big difference between sweeping, setting one up, and actually finishing it. Vera is such an elite jiu-jitsu practitioner. She's going to bail out and give sweeps up and reversals. To actually finish it, it's unlikely. You're kind of more looking like a KO in a fucking women's MMA fight where they're weighing 115 pounds. And yes, she did kind of buzz her in round one of that first fight, Mackenzie Dern, but it's lined competitively, so I don't think she's going to go out there and blow her out the water in general. And so, yeah, I kind of like the over, to be honest, man. I might even end up hitting it myself. I did actually bet Dern at a much better price. Like, I got Dern -115, -120 or something like that. So for me to double down on the over, it's funny because I think we had a conversation about that about 2 years ago or something, Andrew. I don't know if you remember, but I was like, I've tried to be a bit smarter with doubling down on the same fight, because I don't want to be burnt both ways. And then you said, it's funny because I'm actually looking at opposite and I'm trying to treat them as two completely separate bets. And I feel like there's an argument for both. Yeah. I think my one is more like I'm thinking maybe more of, I don't want to say the bigger picture because it's not, but yeah, I guess 2 years on, like how do you approach those? Are you still of the same opinion? You just like literally treat them completely separately and it is what it is?
I tried to, but I'd be lying if it wasn't in the back of my head, like I looked at Dern decision, I played a lot of the over today, and then I'm looking at Dern decision. I'm like, okay, do I want to treat that like it's its own entity, or do I want to say, okay, I have a pretty good position down on the over. Do I want to add to something so correlated? Yeah, it's like you said, there's no right or wrong answer. You know? It's one of those things where you can make a case for either side. I try to land somewhere in the middle. Like, okay, I'm cognizant of it, but I'm not going to totally shy away because there's some correlation here.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. It's 2 years on and I still don't have like a concrete opinion. I feel like I fluctuate at times, and it depends on the fight, and it depends on how, if I have such a strong read on the over, I'm like, all right, fuck it, is what it is. I'll double down. If it's like, oh, I think there's value, but I've already got the Dern bet, I don't think there's much value, I'm just going to leave it because I've already got the Dern bet. Whereas if I didn't have the Dern bet, the money lines were whack or something, maybe I would play the over. So you know what I mean? I am making a different opinion because I already have a bet on it, but it's kind of based on how strong my read is, how much value I have. And sometimes, honestly, bro, how much bankroll I have deployed at the time. If I'm like in on a lot of positions, I'm like, I don't really want to add any more bets, even though I think this is a good bet. So I think a lot of things come into play. But yeah, it's just an interesting one because, like you said, bro, there's no really right or wrong way in this game for a lot of things, But yeah, I think we both lean. You said you lean Dern?
Yeah, I'm not playing her at this price, but I do think she's going to win.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll write down Dern just because we might need some money lines. Let me check her price at the moment. -155. Okay, so it came back in a little bit. I don't think it's terrible at -155. Personally feel like it's about accurate. I'd make her minus 150 to minus 170. So yeah, I'll also write down. Would you like to write down the over?
Yes.
The over currently is minus 145. I'm gonna also write down GT. You gotta think that if it gets over there, it's going to decision.
Yeah.
But minus 130 is not great. So yeah, we're in the main event of the evening, man. I could go with this one for days, but I won't. Gane lost against Francis Ngannou because he got grappled in round 3, 4, and 5 about 5 years ago. And about 5 months ago, he lost against Volkov. That was a bad robbery. I don't think it was a close fight. I think round 2 and round 3 weren't close at all. I think it was a terrible robbery, actually. I heard people saying, like, oh, it was a bad decision, but like it was such a close fight. No, it wasn't. In my opinion, round 2 and round 3, it wasn't even an argument for Gane. Round 1, it was close. You could also argue Volkov. So 5 months ago, he loses that fight on my scorecards and the real fucking people's scorecards via grappling, you know? So like 5 years ago, he lost it via grappling. 3 years ago against Jones, he lost it via grappling. And then 5 months ago, he lost it via grappling. And I've seen fucking Imavov mat returning him about 7 times in boxing gloves. So I don't think this guy has developed the defense, takedown defense, the grappling needed to beat Tom. At the end of the day, a lot of the sharps are on Gane here. I understand it. Over 1.5 rounds, it gets very tricky for Tom. He's never been there. I just can't watch Gane's career and think that Tom's gonna not be able to take him down. I mean, I don't know how good Tom's wrestling and grappling is. I know it's better than Volkov's. And Volkov was dogging him on the ground, kept him down for 5 minutes in round 3, took him down multiple times outside of that. I know his takedowns are probably better than fucking Francis Ngannou's, even though France is a beast. Like, I know that for a fact, right? That he's better than Volkov. So if Volkov can do it, why the fuck can't Tom Aspinall do it? I guess the argument is if he doesn't finish him, he's going to gas out. I got Tom here. I got Tom by round 1 submission. I got Tom by round 2 submission. I got the under 1.5 at plus money after he's never been over 1.5 in his UFC career. So that's my side, bro. It's minus 400, so it's not like a hot take. But I like the under at plus money and the round 1 sub at fucking plus 800, bro. What the fuck is that? I think even if you like Gane, round 1 sub 800 is insane. What's your take on this one, bro?
It's an interesting fight because on one hand, it's like, okay, you know, if they stand, I think this line is off, right?
Yeah.
I think Gane, more elusive striker, better technical striker. You know, he could fight going backwards, forward, sideways. Aspinall, throws himself into the fire a little bit. He's not as good defensively, but man, he hits so hard and his hands are so fast for a heavyweight. Like it wouldn't, if they stand, it wouldn't surprise me if he knocks Gane out. It really wouldn't. Like his hands are extremely fast. He hits hard. Obviously, you know, the big question mark here is, okay, is Aspinall going to grapple? How often is he going to grapple? If he does grapple, you know, and he doesn't get a submission right away, can he do that? Can he grapple, you know, when it's the 3rd round, when it's the 4th round? I tend to think, I do tend to think Aspinall takes him down and submits him on the earlier side. If he doesn't, obviously, you know, Gane's pretty live in that fight, right? Like I would assume at least it's heavyweight. Aspinall, you know, he sprints. He fights really hard. So whether his cardio is good or not, obviously a lot of question marks there. I think even if he has good cardio, you know, he exerts himself so much that I can't really picture him doing that for 5 rounds. If he can, and he just happens to be like a heavyweight Merab, then like, you know, all the power to him. I say all this to say I think the money line's a little bit wide. I'm not like, you know, dying to play it. I just think, you know, if you are picking a side there, it's like, okay, you know, I want to keep myself honest here with like, okay, we've never seen Aspinall in an extended fight. Like we know Gane's been fighting really good people. We know Gane could go 5 rounds. We know if they strike, it's going to be competitive. But I do think, given the fact that it's not a sure thing, Gane's going to win if they stand. Like it's not like if there's no takedowns allowed, we're like, oh, Gane's going to kill him. Like I don't feel that way at all. And it's just. Yeah, there are some unanswered questions, but we might not even get them answered here. It wouldn't surprise me if Aspinall takes him down in the first 3 minutes of the fight if he submits him in the first round, if he submits him in the second round. I actually, I was looking at the same props that you had just mentioned beforehand, and that'll be my official prediction, as I think Aspinall submission early.
Yeah. It's my official prediction as well. I did take round 2 just because, he did get it in round 2 against Arlovsky. I don't think it's impossible. And you can double dip on the under there as well. I've done it a couple of times where you play the under 1.5 and you still cash the round 2 prop as well, which is obviously a lot bigger than the round 1 prop. At the end of the day, man, that's an evidence-based bet if I've ever seen one. Under 1.5 at plus money. Like, come on, bro. Like that's almost an auto bet. People would argue that Gane is an auto bet. I don't think it is, but I understand. But bro, like under 1.5 rounds at plus money in an Aspinall fight, that has to be a fucking auto bet. Aspinall's not a retard. He's a very smart guy. He knows what he has to do here. He knows Cyril Gane's a great technical striker. If you've ever heard Aspinall talk in his any interview, he has a lot of respect for everyone, and he breaks down everyone's fight style extremely well. He speaks about how Sergey has elite hands. I know he did box with him there, but you see how it ended up. So I feel like he's gonna know he's gonna shoot. He should shoot takedowns in this fight. He's not like a knucklehead like Curtis Blades or something where we can't trust him to go out there and go to a game plan. It's just he hasn't really needed to because he's, and he might not need to. He might knock him out in round 1. Then it'll kill my sub play. But I got the under 1.5, so I'll be all good with that. I'm going to write that one down, the under 1.5. If there is anything else, you want to add, you can shout it out. But I'm just going to write down what we said.
No, I think we're in good shape here.
Yeah, we're looking good for these parlays, lads. We'll get to these parlays right now. I don't know what it is now. I just put plus 600. I got plus 800, bro. But yeah, it's probably around there. We've got Gombas giving out props. This is great. 2 whales. Appreciate you both. Appreciate you, man. And we got 1,058 live viewers right now. So thanks for that, boys. Big card, big pay-per-view. Appreciate everyone for being here. Appreciate you very much. Gombas, thanks so much for coming on to break down the fights with me, bro. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to get to the really fun part now.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a good time.
Definitely, bro. We had a good time, and it's going to be way better if we hit some parlays, man. So
it will be.
Let's try and do it. So we do a nickname for this. Do you have a nickname in your personal life, bro?
I don't.
Okay. We'll just do parlay. What should we do, boys? What should we call it? All right, Andrew, you tell us the parlay, and then the boys in the chat will think of a good name.
So, like, how should I approach it? Like, how many legs? Like,
whatever you want to do, bro. You can do 2 legs. You can do 7 legs. You can do all money lines. You can do all round 3 props. Give us the round 3 parlay. Like anything goes.
Okay, I'm going to take you up on the round 3. I'm going to go Jung Park wins in round 3 plus 1,600.
Oh, you're going crazy.
And then I am going to go with. I might go really crazy here. I'm going to go with Mizuki Inway wins in round 3 plus 3,000. That's the parlay. Those 2 legs.
Oh shit! You went absolutely crazy, bro. Inway round 3. Okay. Fuck, I got to bet all these as well. Sometimes when JB's on there and he does some crazy shit, I'm like, for fuck's sake, I got to go and bet that now. I don't want to bet that crazy one. I like the Junior Park round 3. The fucking Inway round 3 is crazy. But to be honest, man, if we get there, I can't say it won't look live. What was the odds for that?
Plus 3,000.
Fucking hell. Do you know what that is together? Can you do that off the top of your head? I ain't got a clue, bro.
No, I have a calculator.
Nah, it's not that bad.
Plus 5,600.
Jesus. Plus 5,600. So this would, I mean, we hit a 52-1 last week, but we never hit a 502-1. So if you hit
First
that, bro,
time for everything.
Yeah, you're gonna be. I mean, one of these days we're gonna hit it. You know what I mean? If we think they're good legs, like one of these days they're gonna hit. We'll call that one Parlay Drew. I don't know why I didn't think of that one. So then we'll do Parlay Lou. I'll do my one. All right, what do we want to go for? I reckon we're just gonna go crazy this this card then, because I got to match your freak, bro. Like we
Yep.
need to go crazy. Umar submission and Maksum submission. Am I going Maksum submission? Yeah, fuck it. It is what it is, man. Plus 400 and plus 400. Let me do that one, boys. Boys, like I always say, yeah, this part of the show, we're doing this for fun. Gombas is not putting his bankroll on these bets, yeah? Like he has other bets he's placed, like official bets. So have I. So please don't get carried away. If you've made it to this part of the show, stake your bankroll conservatively. I'm not putting a lot of money at all on these bets compared to my actual bets. So yeah, just be smart, boys. Responsible gambling, all of that shit. As I'm doing plus 500 to 1 parlays, I'm telling you to be responsible. But you know, we're just having a bit of fun, boys. All right, we'll do a joint one, bro. We'll do parlay, Lou, and the Drew. So you do one leg, and then I'll do one leg.
Okay, and this one will be different than the one we just did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me make sure this is a good one.
Oh, so the legs are here if you want to have a look. Like this is what we chose, but you can choose anything basically.
I'll do the Aspinall submission round 1.
Yeah, that's nice. Fuck, these are big legs, boys. So you know I have to do the same shit. What's a big leg do we have there? Oh, that Walker decision was the first thing that came to mind there. Fuck it, I'll go Walker decision, man.
Love it.
I'll go Walker decision, and then we'll do the odds for that, and then we'll kick out on that.
That comes out to plus 30.50.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, we hit one of them before, or similar odds. I think plus 3,005. So I like those numbers. All right, Andrew. Maybe we do like one. Maybe we do like one lock parlay. You know, just to guarantee the guys some money. So I'm gonna put Rakic in there because he's gonna guaranteed win. Just put something, just like a little something easy. You know, what I mean, something light work, so the people just get some money.
Dern Jandaroba is not a draw, minus 5,000. No, I'm just kidding.
I like that one.
I'll go.
Let me parlay.
Let's see.
What about the over? Oh, you do what you want. When I say lock,
okay, no, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. Over or GTD?
Let's do over.
All right. And then we'll see what the odds are. If it's gonna be like plus 300 or some shit, innit? Plus 223. Yeah, we need a little bit more than that, man. Let's do 2 more legs. I'm gonna do.
Let's do the Haqparast over.
Okay, sweet. You take that one. We got the Haqparast over, and then I'll have a look at one of these. Klein over is live there. Amorim over. I'm gonna go Amorim over, boys. Fuck it. Plus money. We get some good odds for that. So minus 110, minus 145, minus 155, and plus 110. This is just a little lock. It's just a 10-1 lock, boys. All right. Plus 1014 odds. Yeah, I don't mind that. So that's it, boys. That's the show. This is the bets now. Make sure you have a look, boys. And like I said, don't put all your money on it. Parlay Drew, Parlay Lou and the Drew, and Parlay Lock. If you really want to lock, that's a 10-1 lock. So that's it, man. Andrew, thanks so much for coming on, bro. Really appreciate it. This is going to be a good card. What time does it start for you? Do you know?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Yeah, it starts at like 3 a.m. for me, bro. So it's going to be a bastard. And I'm going to wake up for it like I always do. And then I'm getting a plane, bro, the next day at 9 a.m. So I'm going to do like an all-nighter. And then I'll probably sleep through the day. And then I got to wake up and fucking wake up again. But my sleep pattern's going to be cooked. Because I'll sleep through the day. But then I'll wake up at night. But then that following morning, I have to like get on a plane. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just have to stay up that whole night and the day and then sleep. So yeah, wish me luck, bro. It doesn't usually happen, but I'm sure we'll get there. And if I'm making money, it'll be all good, man. So Andrew, bro, appreciate you for coming on. Everyone in the chat, say what's up to Andrew. Tell him you appreciate him. And that's it, man. Let's cash these bets. And good luck, boys. Peace out,
Andrew. Appreciate it.
Let's go, man.